Imagine your refrigerator suddenly goes dark, the hum of modern life silenced, and with it, your access to fresh food. Within days, everything spoils. This is a modern nightmare, but for our grandparents, it was a daily reality they had already conquered. They held the keys to food preservation tricks so powerful, so effective, they were systematically discouraged, even buried by governments and emerging corporations. Now, in an age of fragile supply chains and unpredictable power grids, these forgotten skills are not just fascinating history. They can save you and your family during power outages and times of crisis. The year is 1942. The world is at war. Naval blockades by enemy U-boats form a chokehold on the seas, strangling the flow of imported goods and essential food supplies. On the home front, the illusion of plenty evaporates. Store shelves grow bare. Refrigeration, a luxury for many and still in its infancy, was unreliable and dependent on a strained electrical grid. It was in this crucible of scarcity that ordinary households rediscovered and perfected preservation secrets from a bygone era. These methods were so effective, so liberating, they posed a direct threat to the emerging industrial food complex that was poised to profit from dependency. A self-sufficient populace was not a profitable one. Trick 1. The ancient salt preservation that lasts years. Before the hum of a freezer, there was the silence of the salt box. This wasn't just a light seasoning, it was a total envelopment. By packing meats and even firm vegetables in a thick casing of salt, every ounce of moisture, the very lifeblood of bacteria, was drawn out through osmosis. The result was a perfectly preserved product, safe from decay. This method kept meat edible for 3+ years without refrigeration. It was a technique of profound self-reliance, a way for any family to secure their protein supply for years to come. It was so effective, in fact, that salt itself became a strategic commodity. It was rationed not just because of wartime shortages, but as a subtle means to control this powerful, decentralized method of food independence. Trick 2. The vinegar seal that kills all bacteria. While salt drew water out, vinegar waged a chemical war. The key was acetic acid, the active component in vinegar. When used in the correct concentration, it would lower the pH of the food environment to a level where spoilage microbes simply could not function. It wasn't just pickling for flavor, it was scientific sterilization performed in a home kitchen. Specific acidity levels, typically a pH below 4.6, created an environment where spoilage couldn't survive for decades. Botulism spores, the invisible enemy of home canners, were rendered inert. This knowledge transformed perishable summer harvests into a year-round source of vitamins, a crucial defense against malnutrition when fresh produce was a distant memory. Trick 3. The sugar armor that protects against decay. Sugar, often seen today as a villain, was a hero of preservation. Like salt, it is a powerful desiccant, but it was primarily used for delicate fruits. By packing fruits in heavy syrups or pure honey, a principle known as osmotic pressure was engaged. The hyper-concentrated sugar solution was far denser than the liquid inside the cells of bacteria and mold. This imbalance created an irresistible pull, sucking the water straight out of any microorganism that dared to trespass, stopping them dead in their tracks. These are sugar concentrations that modern science confirmed create impenetrable barriers against microorganisms. It was a suit of sweet armor, locking in the flavor and nutrients of summer's bounty, creating jams, jellies, and preserves that were not just treats, but calorie-dense sources of energy for the harsh winter months. Trick 4. The moisture removal that lasts forever. The simplest and perhaps oldest trick in the book is the removal of water. Without water, life, including the microbial life that causes rot, cannot exist. But the genius of wartime households was in the precision of their methods. They didn't just dry food, they perfected it. Whether using the gentle, consistent heat from a wood stove, the power of the summer sun in a solar dryer, or simply the dry air of an attic, the goal was the same. They mastered proper drying techniques that removed exactly the right amount of moisture, typically 90 to 95%, to prevent spoilage indefinitely. The food became lightweight, compact, and nutritionally dense, a perfect food for a soldier's pack or a family's emergency store. Trick 5. The oil bath that stops oxygen. Oxygen is the fuel for fire, and it is also the fuel for decay. Many forms of bacteria are aerobic, meaning they require oxygen to survive and multiply. The solution? Suffocate them. By submerging cooked foods like roasted vegetables, herbs, or even cheeses in oil, a perfect anaerobic seal was created. The oil acted as a physical barrier, preventing any oxygen from reaching the food. Foods preserved in oil remained fresh for years by creating an oxygen-free environment that suffocated bacteria. This method not only preserved the food, but also infused it with flavor, creating a ready-to-eat delicacy that could be pulled from the pantry months or even years later. A taste of abundance in a time of scarcity. Trick 6. The ash storage that regulated humidity. Some of the most ingenious methods used simple everyday materials. Clean, sifted wood ash from the fireplace was a preservation miracle. For eggs, a coating of ash sealed the thousands of tiny pores on the shell, preventing moisture from escaping and bacteria from entering. Stored pointed end down, they could last for over 6 months. For root vegetables, the principle was reversed. Instead of sealing moisture out, a box of damp sand sealed it in. This technique replicated the cool, moist conditions of the earth, preventing carrots, potatoes, and beets from shriveling. Wood ash and sand created the perfect microclimate for preserving eggs and vegetables for months without refrigeration. It was chemistry and physics, practiced with the materials at hand. Trick 7. The alcohol barrier that never spoils. Alcohol is one of nature's most effective preservatives. At a high enough concentration, it is a hostile environment for any microorganism. This wasn't about making cocktails, it was about creating shelf-stable infusions that would last indefinitely. Fruits, herbs, and spices were submerged in high-proof spirits like brandy, whiskey, or vodka. The alcohol would draw out the flavor and essence of the food while simultaneously sterilizing it completely. These were high-proof alcohol concentrations that preserved foods indefinitely while enhancing flavor. The result was a potent, flavorful extract, or a delicious, preserved fruit that carried the added benefit of being a high-energy food source and a welcome morale booster during bleak times. Trick 8. The natural refrigeration from the earth. Long before electric-powered refrigeration, humanity used the greatest refrigerator of all, the earth itself. By digging just a few feet into the ground, you can access a space where the temperature remains remarkably stable, typically between 32 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, year-round. The root cellar was the pinnacle of this technology. It was more than just a hole in the ground, it was a carefully managed ecosystem. These underground storage chambers maintained perfect temperatures and the high humidity needed to keep root vegetables, apples, and cabbages crisp and fresh through the entire winter, all without using a single watt of electricity. It was a low-tech, high-impact solution that provided food security powered by the planet itself. Trick 9. The good bacteria army. This final trick seems counterintuitive, fighting bacteria with more bacteria. This is the magic of lactofermentation. By submerging vegetables like cabbage in their own juices with a bit of salt, you create the perfect conditions for beneficial bacteria, specifically lactobacillus, to thrive. These microscopic allies go to work, consuming the natural sugars in the vegetables and converting them into lactic acid. This acid not only gives foods like sauerkraut and kimchi their distinctive tangy flavor, but it also makes the environment too acidic for harmful spoilage organisms to survive. Fermentation techniques that created beneficial bacteria armies which fought off spoilage organisms. It's a living preservation method that also enhances the nutritional value of the food, creating probiotics that are vital for gut health. Today, we face a new set of blockades. Our supply chains are long, complex, and easily broken. Our power grids are aging and vulnerable to storms, cyber attacks, and overload. With power grids failing and food prices skyrocketing, these once banned preservation methods are no longer history. They're your family's food security plan. They represent a declaration of independence from a fragile system. Each jar you seal, each vegetable you dry, is a step toward resilience. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing that no matter what happens outside your door, your family will not go hungry. Why were these skills ever allowed to fade? They buried these tricks to create dependency on modern systems. A population that cannot feed itself without a supermarket and a refrigerator is a population that is easily controlled and endlessly profitable. Now you know the truth. The knowledge was never lost, only hidden. Your food security doesn't depend on the grid, the global supply chain, or the whims of the market. It depends on applying these forbidden techniques starting today. It rests in your hands, in your kitchen, in the timeless wisdom of the past, waiting to secure your future.